This is the playground experience. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Go take a slide, go take a swing. Here I have my co-host April Williams.
Allah.
Kathy said she might slide in a little bit later on. And yes, and I got my other co-hosts that are in fur, Ebony, Ivory. It's too. They're in the background playing somewhere in the sandbox, getting all the little sand in their fur. So yeah, so thank you so very much, and I am Divine Sunshine. In case you don't know, if you're new, I'm gonna put out there some new people will discover us tonight as well. So come on in and welcome. We were trying to come up with what the topic is. So I guess in some ways we could talk about some testimonies and some things I have seen currently. What's happening in our energies is a lot of people are making that mad shift into getting that newness happening, making sure that newness is being manifest, or you're getting ideas to say, yes, this is it. I know even with me, my business, I'm getting kind of pushed into doing a lot of my work as far, especially with the divine masculine love letters, but then also these past life regression sessions are starting to now pick up too as well. People wanting answers, wanting to be able to heal, wanting to be able to see what's the patterning that's going on. A lot of people are stepping in to give support to that, to saying, okay, hey, it's all right, for that self-compassion. People are being more patient too as well with you. Say, hey, that's all right. I know that even with the job I switched and I'm at a new school now. And we got some people that's still impatient because they're still dealing with their own negativity or their own toxicity or distortion. But then you have at the same time, as much as distortion is being shown in others, there are other people that rally and say, hey, it's okay. You're brand new. We're not expecting for you to build Rome in a day. So that helps to kind of give that also that springboard, but also that support to say, hey, it's all right. I think now we're kind of being a little bit more patient with ourselves as well. A lot of things are coming up and showing up, new things as far as our spiritual gifts are coming in line and strengthening too as well, doing this part. And I think we're getting a little more self confident about like, hey, yeah, that's who I am. I'm an empath, and I'm not afraid to show it. And this is what I am. We're starting to now really believe in. Yeah, I got this gift. And it comes up every now and then. My awkwardness might come out as it may. However, that's just me. And so now people need to make like accommodations or whatever they need to do in order to deal with that. We're taking a really hardcore look at what things matter, what things don't matter in our lives, and really making that assessment. If we're not, the universe is really coming back to back to back to back to say, okay, you know what, you weren't ready then, but guess what, you're ready for the truth now. Uh, this has to go. This has to go. You might find again. I think I seen that on somebody's reading. And it was saying, "Listen, you can go to as many readings as you want to. Guess what? We're gonna find a way to put the same message out of all of these people that you see." And it's like, okay, I pull cards, the same message. So are you going to get it now? So again, you're being pushed to close those chapters. Even I would say, even with myself, I had been really pushed to close the chapter with my school. I had left the school as the delegate, but I had just upped and left because I had to go and shift and make sure things was all right in my school, setting that up. But I never in my heart, I kept on tugging and saying, you didn't close the door. You didn't give them closure. And I went and I had made a video and I gave them closure to let them know that I was leaving, that, if anybody was upset because I was in the place of leadership, to charge it to my head and not my heart. And I got like my phone was just blowing up. It's like in some ways they helped to reveal to me, who I was. I wasn't seeing how great of an impact that I was having on the school. I just do the job and that's it. I don't ask the questions, but they reflected back to me. It's like, oh my God, you be missed. This, you're so great. You're a powerhouse. You make us laugh. Your smile will be missed. You smile and you give me light sometimes that in days that I don't want to go to work. I don't want to show up. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know you all had viewed. I didn't know it was that much of an impact. And I could tell that, like they said, they said congratulations, but I could tell at the same time it was a sad parting too on their end. So I think a lot of us are finding out that even when we close these chapters, is finding in that situation to be empowered. You will find them saying, you know what, thank you, really for the growth and the challenges or whatever. So if you are, this is the message I like to say to you, is if you're on that borderline about some kind of situation that you're trying to say goodbye to, I believe right now at this point, the situation and the universe is going to support you in that decision and show you that it's not going to be that bad. In fact, that person might turn around and say thank you for releasing them and letting them go. So that is some kind of way that it might come back and reverberate back to you in a different way instead of you making it seem like it's paper tigers and the bad wolf. They might turn around and do the opposite of what you're thinking, or they don't have to say it, but their spirit would say, thank you. I needed that release. Now you're helping me to be able to step into my power and show up the way I'm supposed to. So those are some of the things that I'm just taking the page for minds and kind of throwing out there that these are some of the energies that I found in talking to other people that that's kind of like bouncing around out there in the universe as well. So April, what did you want to
Okay, so I completely agree. It's all about releasing and surrendering and stepping into the new, right?
mhm.
And then those moments where you're looking into yourself or at the situation from an empowered perspective, even though it does feel very intense. Like the energies are very intense. The um, uploads of information are just extremely what's the word, it's trite. Okay, so you're hearing all
Okay.
the same things again and again and again, but are you actually internalizing the core meaning of it, and where are you resistant? Because the new heaven on earth is set for the program, and the countdown is happening like within our structures. So all of us are going through these levels of what feels like upgrades, but it feels like a slowdown. It's like watching something in slow motion. I don't know, it's like being on a merry-go-round. Like you're going and you're riding up and down, and it looks like the people themselves are moving in different pace than you, but you're actually moving faster than them because they seem like they're
Mm,
going slow, but you're
mhm,
moving faster, and the point of it actually is to have some fun with it. So when you're uncomfortable, shifting and moving into those spaces where you create more and have fun with it. And that's actually been a huge, I wouldn't say it was a struggle, but it's just an interesting juggle, right? Because
yeah.
you want to take yourself seriously. You want to step into these moments where you're being empowered and empowering yourself and empowering others, and the community's growing. But all the stuff that's sloughing off, all the stuff that you've like somehow absorbed into your storyline, or you think are you in some way, like when the ego dies, it makes a really big fuss about it. And it's not all of the ego that dies, because you still have to set your boundaries and understand your own being and knowledge, but it's the parts that were the most resistant. Like it's really interesting that a lot of people don't want to see themselves as beautiful, or they don't want to see themselves as intelligent, or like that would suddenly become, I'm not as empowered when I do one thing than I do to another. Oh, yes, the X's. This is the last little roundabout of the X's. Sorry, X's. I did reach out to a couple X's just to check on them. And then I realized don't open that door.
Right, Mimi had a different experience. She said she opened it up and then he told her about herself, and she was like, "Okay, all right, I hear you. Give me more." She even took a note out and said, "Okay, maybe I can work with that. And what else do you have? And I can work with that."
Now you do realize that the stuff in between, though, right? Like the stuff in between the lines, because the other person asks you about themselves,
Hey, hey.
right? Oh, oh, beautiful. Okay, good. We're gonna show this one too. Okay, so she was able to allow me to see where I grew and how I wasn't a toxic. masculinity with him, or just toxic relationship, right? There's the toxic feminine, the toxic masculine. The thing is, if you're dealing with the toxic masculine, the odds are part of you are toxic, and that's always a hard one to kind of realize, because we put ourselves in some interesting situations. I think I set up and because I Instagram's my favorite social media, so I think I put up something about how you don't realize how badly or how toxic the relationship was until you um, actually start telling somebody else about the relationship. But yeah, and then the also knowing where you lied to yourself, right? Because I tend to take too much responsibility. Like I'll take all the responsibility for a situation when it turns out, oh, there was two people in the situation to begin with, right? So it's been a big eye-opening thing for myself, as well as like slowing down and savoring and appreciating the little things. And because I found that time and life was just passing too quickly, because I was just kind of juggling versus taking the moments to savor this moment, right? To savor this moment on the playground, to savor this. Oh, she sees the bird. She's hunting. She's hunting right now. Don't you know? Turned him out. Is that like a good thing or like a probably a good thing? I found that I actually have far more barriers to receiving than I thought. So now I'm in the process of okay, receiving at the moments, receiving positivity, and then savoring it, because I have a tendency to undervalue my own successes. So I'm learning how to value the successes and just keep moving forward, and all that good stuff. But I'm loving this shift because I do feel empowered and like I'm moving forward. So the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year, really kind of set for a lot of momentum. Like it was back to back to back. You had Venus coming out of retrograde. You had the moon, the new moon, and the Chinese New Year, and then you had the 222 portal, and that felt like it really reinitiated onto a whole nother level, a whole nother side. So we have till the 22nd. I don't know if it's like the close of a portal or if it's like even if it gets just bigger and bigger. I'm not sure. We can intuit into that. We'll see how it goes. But a lot of things are coming to light, like especially where I've tolerated too much, or I've kind of let people disrespect me or disrespect myself, and then also where I'm now feeling more momentum and motivated to keep going. Oh, let's see. We've got some. She confronted someone. Yes, we do. We are seeing the short sightedness in others, and the impatience in others, and the immaturity.
Oh yeah,
Like people,
was it?
people can, yeah, people can say that they're mature or they're doing this, that, and the other, but their actions speak way louder.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that was funny because the lady I was having conflict on and that today she was a little bit more caring, more soft. I don't know if it's because I told I wrote on a nice email to the boss about her. I was like, "What is this?" And she was much like, she's like, "Well, okay, I can tell you." She was just more better. I don't know if it was me or whatever the shifting, but she was. I still having the same issue, but she didn't answer me that same way because even the kids was like, "Dang, she hung up on you on the intercom." And I was like, whatever. So my thing is, like you said, some of you see that the energies is still showing that hey, you're somebody is again, and it could be again reflection within me is still not accepting of mistakes. I'll put it that way. If that's another way of saying how it is being. But today it was a little bit better, and I came in there. It's like, hey, if I can't get into my computer, hey, that we already know that some kind of way it's going to work this way out. She's going to call as usual and say, "Where's the attendance?" And you know what to go through the script through. It's like I'm not going to keep on beating myself over on something because I know I'm not crazy. The computer's just not letting me in. It's been doing that for the longest. So you know that, and again, your energy kind of shifts also how other people respond, just like a ripple effect, like they showing me, like a pond. So that's two. is a lot of those people, meaning that I see that you're saying that's coming up, is also a reflection that's showing on with what's going on within too, as well. It's not just a one-way mirror.
Agreed. Agreed. I am also seeing the final falling away, like the discipline that I need, the self discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It's great because spirit guides, angels. I prayed, and I'm getting woken up now at like 6:30, even
Okay.
though I'm going to bed pretty late, and I'm feeling fairly rested. So it's like it's nice. I feel like I'm being put back on schedule. Like
Okay.
Venus is finally like, okay, I'm going to stop, and it's time to get ready, and I'm ready to go. So I'm feeling that motivation now. I'm also ready and like to chew and tackle concepts. Ooh, we're on a boat. Concepts that are new, are concepts that are have always been challenging for me. I'm very excited to jump on them.
Okay.
And there's like a new mindset. I feel
Yeah.
refreshed. I feel ready to go. So shifting in really prepared myself with like the new moon, like that rush of here we go. Here we go. It's time to help others. It's time to help myself. It's time to like and so I mean there's a whole lot of surrender right now too. It's real nasty too. Like the dark
Yeah.
stuff. Like I'm lightly coding on the issues, like the heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But the stuff that's coming up is like tears. It's like deep bone ancestral like personal traumas, like all this stuff is really nice and confronting, and there's a lot of people that are trying to escape like the consciousness, the wave, but you're going to get hit wave after wave after wave. It doesn't go away until you really surrender to it and allow it to flow with you, and then you can kind of ride with the wave. And so I'm excited for that part coming, but I'm still in that part of I'm on the shore. Okay, okay, okay. Like I'm getting hit with this wave. Okay, how
Right.
do I handle this emotional wave? How do I handle this another left level of childhood wounding clearing, teen wounding clearing, early adolescent, all the stuff stages in between clearing, and then going through because it doesn't feel so much ancestral as much as I'm being guided and protected by
Right.
ancestral energy as it is. You're consciously going to clear this, and then you're going to get tested and hit with a wave. And if it hits you, you still got more stuff to clear, and then you keep going. And and I'm saying it in the softest way, but it's actually a very harsh feeling experience.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's kind of
It's
like, okay.
core wounding. It's
Uh,
like core wounding.
yeah.
Like they're like, "Oh, I know you wanted to heal from this, right? But we need to kind of just scrape it open again and
Yeah.
then pour the rubbing alcohol, not the hydrogen peroxide where it doesn't feel so bad. We're going to get
Right.
it. We're going to really get it. Even that last little nerve ending."
Yeah, we getting the SOS pass, the Brillo. Why to get that last stuff? Okay, we letting some CLR sit on that thing inside that coffee cup to really burn it up and eat at it, and like all that kind of processes is going on. Like I said, I see that. Like I said at the beginning, they kind of channel through me where you was like, "No, I'm fine. I got this. No, I'm handling it." And they like, "Move out the way. This going too damn long. Snatch." Ah! At the same time, it's like I want it to be slow and taking out the band-aid. You just rip it apart and say, no, it's not healing. It's not healing. You think it is, it isn't. We got to clean out the wound. We got to do everything. It's got an infected. It's got, some of them say it's got reinfected again. So now we got to clean it, start all over again. It's like, oh no. Or like a person that's got a cast on. Someone say, it didn't heal properly. The bones are really still on crooked. We got to break your thing, break your leg again, and then re-proper place it again, and then put the recasting on. So some of us might be experiencing that too, as well in the whole process. And I know just breathe and just know this time to say, okay, if it wasn't done properly the first time, this time we're going to get it because this time I'm going to be a willing participant in it this time. I'm not going to go kicking and streaming and grab at the whole thing because we see now that it has been really shown to us plain. Speaking of, see, I done drawn her in, talk about the coffee pot. She already know to come right on time and right in on cue when I talk about the coffee pot. That's how I bring it in, people. say, did somebody say coffee pot and scrubbing? Here I am. Hey, Kathy D.
Hello. How is everybody tonight?
Woo! We just talked about the scrubbing and the repeeling and the breaking of the bones and putting it back together and realigning. That's what we in, but we know it's all good.
Oh, it's definitely all good.
Yes. So what's happening for you? We shared with us as well.
I guess really what I'm getting this month of February and this new moon is just karmic. Leaving that, finding that inner voice, that inner strength to not really give a rat's patootie about anything that is said or done.
Okay.
And it actually is extremely hilarious. The DM and I are having our karmics mirror.
Okay.
And mirror right down to phrases, just changing our names.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been interesting. So but yeah, a lot of karmic stuff, but then a lot of it was interesting. Bonita and I were talking the other day, and she was saying how she was having trouble sleeping, and some of this craziness, and that we all go through. And I said to her, I said, I think we've gotten to a point where we're getting some of this sleeplessness and we're getting some of this restlessness because we have done a lot of the work. And as we do the work, of course, our vibration naturally rises. We get more downloads, we get more, all the DNA changes, everything. And I think where before we were exhausted because of all the weight we were carrying as these new things came in, because as they came in and with the weight of everything we were carrying, our 16 hefty bags, that sat on top of those hefty bags and made us,
Mm-hmm.
and so she and I were talking, and I said, I think what it is now is that newness, and we're having to change our mindset from our normal.
Mm-hmm.
And women and men both have a bad habit of, there's a certain type we migrate to.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll say something like, well, he's just too nice. I'm just not good enough for him. We go through everything and before we're awoken, and all of that. But, and we've got to change that. Our whole entire world's going into the new normal, and we've got to do that too. And that's where that self-love and all of that comes in about, we do deserve happiness, and we deserve unconditional love. But then we also, we deserve these wonderful gifts that we get from the universe. We deserve these downloads. We deserve these, these are gifts. And that would be like somebody coming to a birthday party and handing you the most beautiful box you've ever seen. And you looking at it going, no, I don't want it. Take it away. I don't want it. And that's what we've been doing when we don't think we're worthy of this stuff. And we don't think, because of healing or programming that we got early on in life. And as we go through this healing, we're starting to receive these blessings and be able to receive. And, we talked about that a while back, about being vulnerable, being able to receive. And I don't think a lot of times it's all just for the DM. I think a lot of it is from just the universe, from people in general, from strangers, as well as people we know. It's easier to take a compliment from a stranger, because we don't think they have an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you honestly, my kids come up, Mommy, you look beautiful today. What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
I have no cash. Just keep moving, little child. I have no cash. But we do that, we don't allow ourselves a lot of times to take that. And so if we're not able to take it in the 3D, why in the world would we be able to accept things from the 5D? And now, as we are being able to accept, we are stepping into that level of gratitude that we've talked about forever. and really being able to see it and being able to call it in. And I don't know if anybody else has done this yet, but if you do like, just like every morning I started, miracles are happening today. I'm so excited. Miracles are happening today. You know what? As the more I said that and the longer I did that, the more miracles I saw every day. It's that mindset. It's that getting used to, instead of being Eeyore, oh bother, and doom and gloom, and I never get that, and look at this, and this is as far as I'll ever get. And when I just start calling it in, I get miracles every day. I started with I see miracles every day, and now it's gone to I receive miracles every day. And like I told you all before, just that one phrase, no matter who he's with, he thinks of me. No matter what he's doing, he's reminded of me. And that has just kind of come as, commonplace as please and thank you. And unfortunately, the little stinker has learned to do it back. So it's kind of reciprocated. But we are so powerful, and we have to learn to stand in this power, especially in this month of February, with all the changes that are coming this month, with these, when it's a short month, I think it makes the moons stronger. And I think, we have everything happening. We've got, things coming out of retrograde, things moving around. And we just have to be open to these new blessings, and we have to, decide on what our new normal is going to be. Is your new normal going to be receiving amazing abundance? And if it is, then you need to ask the universe, the powers that be, what vibration do I need to get to receive this abundance?
Mm-hmm.
It's all energy. Money's energy. And it's not that, oh, we can't have it or it doesn't grow on a tree. But if the energy in your home, in your business, is not to the point it needs to be, that money's going to be slow coming in. But when it's high energy, it comes in, and it comes in easily. And not just money, but when we talk abundance, this is, people, you don't have to have a lot of money to be wealthy. I mean, to be loved and blessed, and those kind of things are there too.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
so
mean,
all
look,
of
I'm
this
on
is
a cruise
coming
right now.
in. But yeah, I mean, it's all there. It's just energy, and we've got to be able to grab it and accept it. That's the trick. We've got to know what to ask for, and not one of those, well, if you don't mind, it'd really be nice.
And
Someday
no
I'll
why
hope.
me's, like
Yeah,
none
oh,
of
no,
that.
why
None of
me's?
the pity story stuff never
If
really
if
gets
you're
you
gonna
very
do a
far.
why me, it should be a why not me.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Change it around, turn it to power. You can only, no matter what you've gone through in your life, no matter what it's been, you can only be the victim once.
Right.
Then you have a choice. You are either going to be a volunteer to be in a victim position, or you're going to be a victor. And only you can make that decision.
All right, and that's the end of our show, folks. Go down.
That was good. I mean, she's floating on that twin love. She got that twin bubble, and that's a good thing, right? And to cultivate that, to call that in, you actually need to do what she's saying. Do what we've all been saying. Do what you know. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, it's just pulling yourself out of those negative spirals, or those old patternings that don't work, faster and faster. It's happening. Just, surrender to it.
It's
Surrender
find your
to,
joy.
yeah, and it's okay. You thought a bad thought. It's okay. You were
Yeah.
hard on yourself. Yeah, it happens. It happens to all of us from time to time, but it can happen less and less the more you choose, right? When you are just saying, "Oh, this is the way things are because they've been so," you're not acknowledging your own power or the power of this moment. And that's as simple as shifting, or being willing to shift. Sometimes
Yeah.
it is a little frustrating and hard to get yourself out of that spot because you've built it into your neural network to be the quickest way, right? But you can simply shift out by choosing to shift out. And then there's multiple ways to get to this level of cosmic peace that she's exuding love. She's exuding unconditional love right now. She's farting rainbows here at the playground.
I wouldn't say rainbows, maybe a little glitter, but yeah, not rainbows.
It's a unicorn, darn it.
Well, look at Daisy Pretty Baby. Oh.
This is right. Oh, sugar. Yeah. You know what? And that brings me to it and why you need to be, because even though the universe brings you stuff, you've got to be prepared and ready. Just like this move from one school to another. That's why I felt with myself. Although I was there, it was a lot of things in the universe that was showing that I was still not receiving the new job, the new school. It's still a new job in the process. And things, the computer wasn't working, things wasn't kind of transitioning over because I had like one foot still at the old school and one foot there at the new school. Say true. Okay, thank you for telling on me through the notification. Say true. So I had one foot in the old, one foot in the new, and it's like, hey, you got to pick a struggle. You can't be both of this and still holding on with them in the former school. So that's what I wanted to make sure that I had closed the chapter with the video, because I knew energetically I was still tied. And that might be the same thing with us, like with those karmic situations, like she was saying, Captain D was saying earlier, where we've got to kind of break it off, no matter how it looks. You can't not receive the new. And they kept on, spirit kept on saying and wake me up there. This here, you can't pour new wine in old skins. You can't do it. You just can't. You keep on doing it. You pour new wine into old skins. And I was like, okay, I hear you, I hear you. And I kept on doing it. And then one day I say, stop. Do you understand what it's telling you? You're still trying to pour it in the situation. And I was slowly even seeing at the school, like, I'm like, damn, this is starting to be a continuation from the school I just came from. And Spirit was like, well, where did it come from? Your mindset is now recreating the same environment here. And this is supposed to be new. Shift your mind. That's your fault. And so when I started to shift things, I was like, oh, I've got to really cut and release this, period. And stuff started, I started accepting the kids started being rebellious against me. They started taking to me because I was throwing that into my energy field. That it was just like, I'm still over where I'm at, because they were still calling me from the other school saying, where are you at? And I had to kind of remind them, like, hey, I'm gone. So just remember that a lot of times the universe does, but thank God the universe is giving, because they said she's going to get it down the line. We still going to give it a newness. We're not going to snatch it back. But some of the things that Spirit has not given us to is because we're not in that right mindset. And that's like, again, the saying, it's not like a no. It's just saying, no, you're not ready. You're just plainly not ready to receive that. And we don't want you to F it up. Okay. And so that is some of the things that, like, I believe that now what it's saying karmically, these things are saying you got to let it go, because where you going preparing for this newness, like Kathy D said, this new world or this new dimension, if you're doing the battle like I did, that is not going to work. I mean, that's going to turn you like, I thought I'm supposed to be in the 50. I thought all the readers told me that. Kathy told me that. April told me that. This still look like the 3D. Yeah, because you're still dragging them 16 bags of hefty bags over there to the 5D when you're supposed to be stepping into a whole new dimension. The dimension in the 5D is here. But if you're bringing that still that same mindset, it's just going to mess it all up. So I said, okay, well, that's a lesson that I can tell on myself that I can bring to others and say, please do not do like I do. Get the lesson. Once you see it looking like that, hurry up and make that shift. Turn like that light switch if you want to, and say, okay, this is new. I'm supposed to receive this as new, and let everything that I do as far as my direction, my mind, what I'm saying, my actions, and me physically being present in this moment so I can really understand to make that major shift. So I just wanted to give that example to what Kathy D was saying too as well.
Yeah, and when you find your joy like that, I know when I switched jobs and I found that joy, and I just, I just went in there with I was so excited. I wasn't going to let the old baggage. I left, I drove by one of those donation bins and I just dropped off my 16 hefty bags from the school. Cause we all have, and understand, our 16 hefty bags that we all talk about, each part of our life has them. We have 16 hefty bags from our family, and we have 16 hefty bags from our career. We have 16 hefty bags from our love life. We have 16 hefty bags from our inner child.
True.
And so there's going to be some draggage. And, that's kind of like a boating term. When you have drag in the water, it slows you down. But you have a choice. You can either know that slowly but surely those bags are going to drop off and it's going to be good. And so you're just going to keep moving. Might be a little slow, but you're going to put one foot in front of the other and you're just going to go, or you're going to stand there and wait till your bags disappear. And I'm going to tell you, if you stand there and wait for your bags to disappear, they're not going to disappear. And, and even in a karmic situation, I mean, we're all human. Trust me, when mine breathes in and breathes out, I'm like to the point of wanting to scream, well, you just shut up, so, but we've got, I just heard my DM. It's that constant in and out and in and out, but talking about they're still breathing, but, you've got to find your joy. And if it's meditating, if it's dancing, if it's reading, if it's playing, if it's, planning, if it's cooking, whatever it is, find your joy. Take that time and allow yourself to experience that joy. Don't put it on hold. And I did that for so long with my hypno Reiki. I put it on hold. Oh, well, I'll wait till I get to the new house. I just can't do it now. I just excuse. Just lip service. I had a friend that happened to be moving who was a massage therapist. And I sent her a message. I said, hey, if by any chance you're selling one of your massage tables, I'd be interested in buying it. She said, yeah, and for you. She gave me a great deal. So I ordered the covers because I don't need the face hole and that kind of stuff. So I ordered the fleece covers and the sheets and all of this stuff and the pillows and all of that good stuff. And I had my little table and it rode around in the back of my car with me. And then the other day, my bonus mom calls and she wanted me to do her a session. And I said, okay. So I drug my little table down, because who else to try out but your family before, you do it to anybody else. And you know what? It was amazing. It really was, because I gave myself that gift of something that I had really, really wanted.
I took it off. Uh-oh. It didn't take it down. There we go. Thank you. It's here. There you go.
I don't know anything about that, sister. But I allowed myself that. I gave myself permission. I gave myself permission to be the expert that I went to school to be. And it was amazing. And not only was that session amazing, the 2 nights ago, I went back down to their house and her brother happened to be there and has some stuff going on with the nerves in his feet and his legs. And he was willing to do the hypno Reiki. Not only was he willing to do it, he did it. He felt things, and it was the first time I truly had doing the hypno. Now I've gotten it doing the Reiki, and I've gotten it doing hypnotherapy. But when I've put the two of them together, I literally got downloads, and I got things from other people. As I was scanning his body, I had all these people come in saying, tell him thank you, tell him thank you, tell him thank you, tell him thank you. And almost had me in tears. But that wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have allowed myself my joy. I wouldn't have allowed myself to move forward, to believe in me. And, you know what? We have got to find that, everybody wants to dwell on the DMs. And yes, that's fantastic. And don't get me wrong, I love my DM. But this, because he's not completely sold on this whole hypno Reiki thing. It's like when we talk about it, it's almost like a little pat on the head. Oh, that's nice, Kathy. Yeah, that's nice. Good girl. Yes. He's not so sure, and he's afraid I'm gonna make him bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken. And I told him I'm not allowed to, but for him, I might. But you know, he's not even sold on this, so this didn't
I
really
am
have
not one to
anything.
judge whatever they're into. You know what I'm saying? Freaky Friday edition. If they want to bark like a dog or
Right.
quack like a duck,
Yes, I
role
see a lot
It's
of
like
playing
a
that.
and
see. It's like one of those see
E-I-E-I-O.
and say. I could make him my own personal see and say just with certain code words. But
Do it. No,
we we had said we were going to do that for a little child that was in our life, that we would give them the code words to make him do all his farm animal sounds. But um yeah, but and that didn't have anything to do with him. I gave myself that ability and that privilege to move on with what I knew I could do. I didn't let I stopped letting the karmic tell me who I was and what I could and couldn't do. And I hadn't realized, even though he's not saying it, I was still fearful. I was still not allowing it. But
So,
when I stepped up and I did, good things happened.
mm-hmm.
so when you step into your power, what does that mean for you? Right? So each of us have maybe more than one facet,
Mhm.
maybe more than one trigger, maybe compound trauma, most likely, considering we're the generation that's talking about it, right? So we're the one that's initiating the band-aid pull. And it's setting itself up here on earth for all of us to have this space where we can actually be vulnerable and intimate and actually real with ourselves and where our weaknesses are and where our strengths are, and allowing ourselves the time and the space and the boundaries to actually heal from those traumas or from those weaknesses or from those triggers. And it's kind of learning about attachment styles,
Mm-hmm.
right? So once you know kind of your attachment style with no judgment, you can actually start to cultivate and take yourself to the more secure attachment style. I mean, if you're avoidant, you understand that you're avoidant. If you are, it's not called clingy. What's it called? Because I'm clingy. I'm a clinger. Clinger 5000.
Um,
I'm gonna get a shirt. I'm gonna make a shirt that says Klinger 5000, and it would be accurate. Just get on my level. 5D cuddle pop. Cuddling at the
Oh,
playground.
that ain't the anxious anxiety. That's one of you. The anxious one. That's the one that clings.
Anxious, avoidant. Um,
Dismissive.
Dismissive. Um,
oh Google, I heard you existed. I'm gonna Google attachment styles.
What is called
yeah, I
anxious?
can't even think tonight. And
It's anxious, avoidant, dismissive, and then you got the one that's like a combination of it, kind of.
Okay, we've got
mhm.
secure, ambivalent, insecure, and avoidant, insecure. So it's either secure or insecure, and you can be ambivalent or avoidant, according to some random psychology
Okay,
site.
yeah, those
Well,
are.
and then there's the other ones that like we can throw in that we're finding more and more on the styles, like the sub styles, which are the like anticipation, the you
Oh,
know
anxious, avoidant,
anxious, yeah,
fearful,
anxious anticipation, and
Right.
fearful.
yeah,
Yeah,
fearful.
fearful, avoidant. Yeah, all of that. That's the same.
There's so many layers. There's just like a Venn diagram of life. But just so you know,
What,
everybody's
Vin
got their
Diesel of life? All right, I'm all for that one. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
thing.
Somebody
As long
said
as
Vin
we get the
Diesel.
cars.
Yeah.
Do I get the Fast and the Furious franchise involved in this? My son would like the Hot Wheel versions of Avoidance. That's avoidance. Fearful attachment. Secure and insecure. So cultivating secure attachment styles alone, it seems like it's easy, right? But unless you have the interaction with another human being or another being, you can't actually tell if you actually have cultivated that for real, right?
And
So
the being can't be someone you're related to, because that's a whole nother attachment style.
yeah,
Right.
like your child is different than your your partner, your
Your
significant.
karmic.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like as much as you like have that friction, you created the relationship with them. And so now it's kind of like, especially if you bred with them, like you have children with them, it can be complicated, the dynamic of that kind of interaction when they were put there to like trigger the fuck out of you. Like you get triggered
Oh,
with
they
your
have
twin.
succeeded. They have succeeded, yes.
You get triggered with your twin, but it's more like I feel like it hits your ego more. Like there's some manipulation within the karma sphere,
Hmm.
but like you're like, I'm changing for the better, and then they come and then they, I don't know, for this is so cold. Has it been long enough? But they Tanya Harding you, you know what I mean? Like they just really
Hmm.
cuff your leg. Please.
Well, and sometimes, here's the funny thing.
Is it
A
too
lot of times it's not even their trigger, it's you trigger yourself.
yeah, okay.
Their behavior triggers you to trigger yourself.
Right. True.
Mm,
And so it could be just, and we have the deal, if you don't feel like talking, we won't talk into subject, because there are times I don't feel like talking. And we have that. But then when that happens at certain times, he's off in la la land. He could care less. He doesn't even he's not even triggering anything that I'm triggering. I'm flipping out. I'm going through all the narcissistic triggers that I had heard for the last 20 years. He's mad at me. What have I done? Oh my God, now he hates me. Oh, but, and I'll go through this whirlwind until, I finally have to tell my ego to shut up. We're not listening to it anymore. It is not welcome at the table, because the rest of us are like, it's fine. It's fine. Just stop. And then the next day when you find out what had happened, you're like, you look at your ego and go, told you it was fine. But yeah, we trigger ourselves with so much of this mentally.
That's true. Yeah.
And then they're like, what's the matter with you? It's like,
right.
you just have no clue what you just did to
and
me.
for those of you who don't have the 1 day turnover, like 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 Mr. May,
Oh,
um,
no, I
it's
didn't used to. Mine used to last for weeks, and you know it. So it has been a gradual
I'm
upgrade.
I'm I'm touching bases through time and space so that people can feel like they can relate, right? Because the thing is, once you're in the right space emotionally, once you're holding your frequency,
Mhm.
um, and more consistently, you're
Yes.
able to actually have this connection um, that can handle the back and forth, that can handle the conversation. There's so much inner wounding that has been done between masculinity and femininity that it actually even has people have a rift within within themselves.
Mhm.
So once you learn yourself enough, you can then interact with another person who's learned themselves enough, right? Because then
Mm-hmm.
you see the imbalance when a person hasn't learned themselves enough, and then how you can trigger them, or they are, how easily triggers happen, how that change happens. So it's a matter of stepping into that clear process, that clear communication, and the willingness to not let this shut any of this down,
Mhm.
right? Because as far as our society right now, we've been conditioned to think that this is always right,
All
but
right.
this is just a machine that's a part of a machine that is a
Mhm.
conduit for the divine.
Yeah, when you start listening to your ego, remember you can be brain dead and still alive.
Mm, that's like that one hit home, right?
That sure did. Dang.
Mic drop. It can be brain dead and still alive.
Again, this is the end of the playground experience. Good night.
You can be in a coma and still have a baby, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do it. Your machinery will work. Um,
As long as that heart's pumping. That's the trick. Everybody, people think that it's when the mind is gone, but it's not.
it's when the heart stops.
Right.
Well, and all the liver dysfunction, like,
Right.
stops functioning.
Well,
But
but when all those start shutting down, because unfortunately I had to live through this with my mom, her liver started going into liver failure, and then it does the whole cycle. Remember the cycle from elementary school? You know how we saw the liver into kidneys and everything connects, and that's the way it worked. She was in stage 1 liver failure. Then she began stage 2, and then the kidneys went into stage 1. And then, they just kind of kept her on machines until, all the final decisions were made. And ultimately, once they just kind of let the body do its thing, actually, her death certificate doesn't say that she died of liver disease, but the actual cause of death was cardiac arrest because her heart stopped on its own. So,
love is
there are a
all
lot
there
of
is,
people.
people. Love is all there is. And if we take into the metaphorical or the
Hmm.
metaphysical concepts of what each organ represents, it's
Hmm.
like, if you have too much anger, if you're holding on to resentments, if you refuse to let go of fear and your fight or flight response, if there's a way to balance all of these things, how to allow yourself to be satiated emotionally. Can you feel satisfied? Can you, because that bottomless pit feeling,
Hmm.
all of these things are indicators of what's going to start manifesting in your physicality if they are ignored. So it's learning yourself on so many levels. You can do it. I mean, as within, so without. All these things are reflections of each other. What
Hmm.
You can pick any method to start self love and self care and self acceptance.
Mm-hmm. Self compassion.
Yeah,
Yes.
we all agree. Yes, it's the
Yes.
compassion we need.
Yeah, because you know what? You really can't have self-love without self-compassion. Because with self-compassion is when you also have the self-forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And, April's talked about this with the forgiveness. If you can't forgive yourself, then you technically have trouble loving yourself.
This has been coming up a lot too, is forgiving the universe so that
Yes.
you will allow yourself to receive. So let's go back
Mhm.
to this one, and we should close it on the receiving note, right? Because part of the whole thing about the feminine aspect is it loves to give and nurture and support. But does it allow itself to receive support, to actually be nurtured herself, right? It's more than just the physical act of, let's say, getting your um, a manicure, a pedicure, a massage. It's more than just that. It's actually receiving that as I'm loving myself. I'm taking care of my physical body. I deserve this. If you're sitting there talking smack about yourself the whole time, or being angry at a certain situation, and you're not being present in the moment of receiving, then how is the universe going to even have room to bring you even more? And so as we start to take into assessment, because I really love that, I'm grateful for all of the things in my life, right? And I'm ready and willing to receive miracles and understand that I can receive more. Like, I actually can receive more. I mean, you guys, those of you who have physically birthed a child, your body has the capacity to do way more than you've ever imagined. Now, if you can allow yourself to receive, especially they're giant little heads. You don't think a head is big until it goes through your vagina. Seriously.
Nope.
Um,
Mine came through the belly button. Thank you very much.
well, my Yoni did some yoga. Let's just say that. She
Nope.
she did the
Because
splits
hip to
and
hip, I'm
started
good to go.
limping. She did some limping back. She like fell into the splits and she's like, "Whoa, that's a bit more than I was prepared for." But
Well, anybody
uh,
that's ever healed or recovered from any kind of accident too.
true. I mean,
Anything like that. Yeah, anytime you've had that healing, especially when a doctor has poo-pooed it and said, "Oh, well, most people don't ever do so well with that." And we've all done that. All three of us. And if that's not a wake-up call, especially after, either giving birth or seeing birth. If those aren't wake up calls to what your body can do, just go sit in the back row. We'll get back to you in a little bit, because you're not ready to be to the front of the class yet.
I think it's really too taking assessment to the fact that you have been through trauma, right? Like you can't just pacify it with like a well wishing.
Oh,
Right.
You actually kind of have to process it, whatever it means for you to process. Everybody's processing is different. You don't necessarily have to re-traumatize yourself to process your trauma or the heaviness, but acknowledging that you've been through something and that's why you're actually hesitant to receive something will help you open up to say, maybe I can receive this. Maybe I have been traumatized. Okay, I'm going to acknowledge that. I've been through a lot. I honor that part of myself. Now, how, show me, universe, how to receive more. Show me, universe, how to love myself even more. And then
And
attract.
trauma for one person is different for another. Some people are very strong in the area of like pain, like they have a high pain tolerance.
right.
So, which, something that would be traumatic and have a pain trigger to some won't to others. So never compare your trauma to anybody else. It's not a competition. And we don't give out participation awards. Sorry, not that show. So, but like April's saying, we've got to admit that we had the trauma. So,
And like, when you're conversing with someone else who's had trauma, right? And they might be in a different state than you are, um, give them that space or that respect to process it the way they need to,
mhm.
you know? And if they're starting to cross your boundaries or they're kind of getting to a space that you're uncomfortable, you have the right to say, this is a little bit more than I can handle, or maybe we need to like switch it up to a lighter topic because I don't know how to help you, or I'm just going to listen. I need permission from you to that it's okay that I can't solve your problem, right? Because often we want to take away other people's pain, but
Mhm.
then that means, well, I shouldn't even feel bad because I had this happen. It's okay to have your first world problem. Right? I mean, I'm just gonna make a joke out of it because I like to make jokes. Because I think laughter does help with alchemy in the body,
Mhm.
but it really does help to. I totally spaced what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna lie. That's like five things happening right now, and I kind of have to use the restroom. Not gonna lie.
Well, you know what April said too, where we have to give ourselves permission, not to solve their problem. If we're the ones that we're talking about it, we need to ask permission. And I have to say, Helen has a friend that has not had the easiest road. And she'll come up she loves to talk to Helen, and they have great discussions. But she'll come up to her, and they'll be talking. She'll say, I'd really like to share with you what's been going on if you're in the mental space to receive it. This is a 16-year-old saying to another 16-year-old, I'd really like to share this with you if you're in the mental space to receive it. And this is a kid that has been through some trauma that would bring most adults to their knees.
Okay.
And, we have to be mindful of that, because that's, it's other people's energy too. And so I just think that's, like April said, we have to, let them know that we're not here to solve their problems, and but that they're, we also have to be mindful of who we just unload on. Always
Right.
ask
That's
permission
true. That's
before
true.
you,
I'm in agreement
you
with you
don't.
about the trauma. You have to remember that again.
Are you okay? Are you frozen? She has to be frozen.
I would hope she's frozen, because if not, she's in deep thought.
Okay.
It's about to
She's
get really
frozen. Oh,
real,
there she is.
folks.
All right, universe. So you say cut it. So we will stop at this point. I had another point. We'll try maybe hold on to something about trauma, because that was like a opinion. That's not really finished, but I'm gonna listen to spirit because it been acting real good. And then all of a sudden they say, that's it. Say that for next time. So our next time we'll talk about trauma.
Say
And
no night.
I know that's a big can. That's not a little
Yeah, that's
can.
a real big can to handle on that one. I had something, so I just say forget it. I release it and let
Trauma.
it go on that one. So all right, anything happening in the community since Spirit has shut me up?
Book is up for sale.
Okay,
Check out my website. Either
okay.
check out my website for a copy of the book, or check out my Instagram, and my link is will be there, which you don't know what it is because we don't have a banner for it.
Yeah, you can
But
just go over there in the banners.
there's a
Uh-huh.
lot of banners. I don't even know.
Yeah, you down in
Um,
yeah, you can put that in there.
uh, but yes, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to this channel. I'm just gonna leave this up here while I switch over to Kathy D. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
working on
'Cause
all
my
the
hands are
things.
full. I got 2 sleeping babies in my hand. That's why I haven't been moving nothing.
I have been. I'll be doing 2 live. If you join my community, I have 2 live Yoni Steam group sessions. So you won't be on the show, but I'll be on the thing, coaching through a Yoni Steam session. It always works together to have more at divine energy to alchemize what's going on with your process and your womb healing and stuff. So feel free to check out my website or my Instagram at goldenlifellc.com. Golden_life_ wait, nope, that's not even it. Golden_life_unlimited at LL. Nope. Golden Life Unlimited LLC. That's what it is. You type that in there, you can find something. Hopefully it's me.
You'll find some.
And on that note, Kathy D.
Still working a gazillion jobs, so not a whole lot going on. Still doing the revamp, kind of now getting some more feedback from the DM on rebranding and making it more of a unit kind of decision on some of the stuff. And what do you think? How do you feel? What is this? If you hear this, what do you think? Kind of going through it that way. And so the process is a little bit slower than when you only have to ask yourself. So yeah. But so we're slowly but surely making the transition from pineapple fish life coaching to pineapple fish wellness.
All right. Hey, all right now. That's a mouthful, but it says it all. All righty. Okay, I know I'm way all the way down somewhere. Just hit me with the divineunisouls.co. I think that's at the top. I think it should be at the top. Or just hit me Gmail. I answer.
I'm close. I'm getting closer.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's a lot of stuff on here. I'm like, who is that?
I do it. So you got divineunisouls at Gmail. If you're interested, it's really divineunisouls.co. If you're interested in getting for the month of February your divine masculine love letter to understand what's going on with your person in the 3D or how they're doing their actions in the physical, go there. It's 1414 for that. That's been going pretty much. Also in Ashanti Wellness, but you can AshantiWellnessCenter.com. I have MAT sessions where it helps you to release the trauma for the body through energy work and pain in the body that's linked to trauma in your body too as well. So you can get that there. And then also past life regression sessions. Those are the popular ones that people are looking for patterns and trying to understand why things are happening in life. You set the question. We go through your past, your lives that you lived, and see why is it linked like that and showing up in this life like it is. So make sure you check me out there. And that is pretty much it right there. So all right there. Hey, Selena. Now you new, aren't you? All right then. Welcome to the playground experience.
I love you,
We
Hina.
are so glad to meet you. Is that your bestie?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm coming. I figured that.
My dog was eating mail, so.
Yeah, I I've been there, done that. And my dog is staring at me, and I think one of these spirits have jumped into her because she's coding and talking to me through her eyes. All right. All right, take us on out of here, Kathy D.
All right. So make sure that you get all the sand, virtual sand out of your shoes and socks. Make sure you take all your own sand toys home with you. Clean up around the sandbox. And wishing you your best life ever. We'll see you real soon.
All right, and April Williams.
Stay blessed, stay golden, and remember, you were made for this golden life.
All right, then. I can't make the symbols because I got 2 sleeping babies in my arms, but as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascending. Namaste and Namago. All right, then. Until next time. See you on the playground experience. All right, then. See, you're going to have to get us out of here, April. I can't touch nothing. Up there at the top in the broadcast. I can't do it when they sleeping. My eyes are going to sleep. Can you get it? All right. She took herself
She
out.
just took herself out, left us there.
Well,
Thanks, April. You're a gem.
and all right, see you all. I love it. Hold on, say see you.